Okay, so we know in the world we live in how technology based it is. And, scientists are saying that that is a big part of a classroom and having success with your students. So, what technology have you seen in classrooms, or what technology would you consider, um, you know, having in your classroom to help teach students?
Okay. So I know right now that the grade level teachers on our campus use Renaissance and iStation to get valuable data back from where their students are and where they can go. I don't have any personal experience with that, but I feel like that's something that I've kind of observed students doing, and I feel like that's something that I could incorporate and that would give me some valuable feedback on where my students are. Right now in my music classroom, I currently use technology in a couple of different ways. The first way that I use it is through a YouTube channel that sometimes I will send over for younger grades under ViewPure. And I make videos for my students, especially when we're preparing for a musical, for them to be able to practice the songs that we're learning and the dances that we're doing on their own outside of class, because sometimes only seeing them for 45 minutes once every 6 days is not quite enough for them to get to be proficient at these songs. So that's one thing that I do. I only have one iPad in my music class right now, but for the older grades, sometimes I am able to use a music app for them. But I find since I only have one iPad, when I pull it out and give it as an option, so many of the kids want to use it, and we just don't have the time allotted for that, that it's not really fair. So,
And just to let you know, in second, third, and fourth grade, we do have about 6 Chromebooks
okay.
in each classroom, and we have one iPad for every 2 students.
Okay.
That's especially important because those that are doing dual language, they can partner up with their English or Spanish partners. So you will have access to more technology. We also have some teachers that have smart boards and different types of technology. We have an education foundation. It's the Mount Pleasant Independent School District Education Foundation, and it was created by business owners and members of the community, as well as staff. They donate an amount of money every month to the Education Foundation, and it goes into a large budget, and teachers can write grants. And there is a committee that will review those, and if they feel like it benefits the classroom teacher and students and their learning, then you have a good chance of your grant being chosen. So a lot of teachers have gotten a lot of technology from that grant. So just to let you know, that is available, as well as the Chromebooks and several iPads per classroom.
Okay, I have two questions on the grant. Is there a limited dollar amount that you have to have?
It's usually around 2,500 is what they try to keep it at per grant. Now, grants are anonymous for campus and for individual. So, and grants can be proposed twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. So, if you want something and you can buy it or get it in 2 different sets.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted maybe the smart board, and then later you wanted like a projector or something to go with it, or an intercom system or whatever.
Okay.
You could do that, because they can't deny you based on
Okay.
who you are, what campus you're at, or what you have or have not already received.
Okay. Are there any desktops in the classrooms that we'll have access to, or is it just the Chromebooks and the iPads?
We do have some older desktops that some of the teachers like to keep in their rooms. Some of them will keep 3 or 4. Some of them, they are fairly aged, and so they'll tell us to come get them, and we have them in a storage building outside. However, we do have 2 computer labs.
Okay.
We have a computer lab with 20 computers that's set up for the computer specialist class. So from 10:30 on until the end of the day, that classroom is occupied by students.
Okay.
But we also have a new computer lab with 24 computers that is available all day long. That's where a lot of the teachers bring their students in to do their iStation and Renaissance testing, TELPAS testing. We have schedules made for that, but by no means is occupied at all times.
Okay.
So if there's, some kind of computer program that you want them to work on or do some kind of research and you want each of them to have their own desktop,
Okay.
then you could definitely put your class on a schedule for that.
Okay.
Any other questions about technology?
No, I think that sounds really good.
Okay. We also have each classroom has a phone and each classroom has an intercom system.
Okay.
And then we also encourage you to always keep your cell phone on you
Mm-hmm.
in case of an emergency.
Okay.
So, but if you needed to contact the office or some classrooms will call classroom to classroom, or you can call any of the administrators or support staff up here via the telephone.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about students who miss school a lot that are truant.
Okay.
How would you handle or approach a situation like that when you have a student and they're coming to school late, frequently, or they're missing a lot of school? How would you go about approaching that situation?
Okay. Well, I would hope that before they missed an excessive amount of school, that I've already had some kind of relationship built up with their parent or their guardian, because I believe that is really important. And I know that there's a lot of students who don't have that, but for the students that do have that familial guardianship support at home, I want to make sure that I am developing a relationship with whoever they live with, so that if they are not there one day and I don't know why and they haven't told the office, I'm going to give them a quick call and say, hey, are you okay? Or a text message or email, however they prefer to communicate. Are you okay? So-and-so wasn't here at class today. And then hopefully I'll get an answer. They're just sick and they'll be back in a couple of days. If not, I don't have an answer, I'm going to continue to try to reach out to them in a variety of different avenues to try to get a hold of them with contact. If I haven't heard from them in 3 days, then I'm probably going to contact the assistant principal and say, look, so-and-so's not been here. I've been trying to call. Nobody will answer the phone. I've varied my time of day. I've varied my avenue of communication, and I'm still not getting anything back. I'm worried. And then if and when the child comes back to school, I'm going to talk to whoever they live with and see if I can find out the reason. And then I'm also going to start with the student, let the student know, I'm concerned about you, and, are you sick? Is there something going on? Do you need help from me somehow? And hopefully I'm going to have a bond with them prior to that, where they feel comfortable sharing with me why they were not here. If it becomes a consistent problem, then that's going to affect their learning, and I think that our admin need to be aware of that so they can take their proper course of action to fix it.
And we also, we have a counselor here every day. So, if it's some kind of, could be abuse issue,
Right.
could be, just something going on in the household, just a circumstance. We do have that option available. We also have a community and schools person that's available that can make home visits and reach out to families. We also, just to let you know, we do have an after-school program as well.
Oh,
If you have students who, need to stay after school because their parents work, we do offer it to our staff for their kids until 4:30, which might
Okay.
benefit you for free.
Okay.
And then it's $5 a day for people that are not staff at MPISD. It's $5 a day, and they can stay until 5:30. Just to let you
Okay.
know that we do have that program available too.
The communities and schools person, are they here every day? And what kind of services do they provide?
Okay, they are here Monday through Thursday, all day. They have the
Okay.
same teacher schedule. It is a program that is provided through our college, Northeast Texas Community College. So on Fridays, they do have to have staff meetings out there
Oh, okay.
where they, they meet with all their cohorts and they talk about what services they have provided for the week, what cases they have.
Okay.
They provide glasses. They will go and get the child's vision screening done. They will take them to the eye doctor if needed. If a student has a medical or dental need that the parents cannot address, they can provide transportation for that. We have a lot of dental needs, and they will take them. They will have the evaluation done. They will actually take them, to the treatment and then follow up with them. They do help with food bags, which are provided from the food pantry for students who need food over the weekends. And they also help with school supplies at the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's a good resource.
Very good resource. Okay, so if you have a student, you said how you would address like truancy or tardy issues. If you have a student just with consistent behavioral problems, how would you approach that situation?
Well, I'm first going to see if they have a behavior management plan, and if they do, then I'm going to follow what that says for me to do. If they don't, then I'm going to try a bunch of different avenues to try to improve their behavior. I'm going to use positive reinforcers. I'm going to try to use redirection. I'm going to ignore attention-seeking behaviors. I'm going to try to do all of those things that we should before we just, we don't ever want to abandon a child, but before I take it outside of my classroom. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do as a teacher, and that I have given him every tool that I have. And if the child is still having behavior issues in my classroom, then I'm going to talk with the assistant principal or the principal and find out where I need to go from there. We may need to have a conference with the parent. We may need to have conference with other individuals and see if we need to set up a meeting to look in, maybe he's got some other issues going on that we need to address.
Because a lot of times, we'll have certain teachers that their preferred style of discipline is just to bring them up to the office, and that's not always effective because you are their first line.
Right.
You are the disciplinarian. You have to make them learn your rules.
Correct.
In your classroom, because if you don't establish that and they're brought to the office all the time for it to be addressed, then they're not ever going to respect you necessarily, or they're not might not ever follow your rules and guidelines in your classroom.
And if they're not wanting to do the activity, I'm just going to act out so that my teacher will take me to the office, and then I don't have to do the activity, and I get out of it, and you're rewarding my negative behavior by giving me what I want. So I think that needs to be addressed and handled in my classroom first, and I think that if you are well prepared and organized, and you have a good behavior management plan, and you have got a good
reward system
and a flow to your classroom, then you, with the exception of certain problems, you will be able to handle all of that on your own.
Okay, let's get back to the two specific positions that we have available.
Okay.
And this will not sway our decision in any way, but do you have one that you seem to be maybe more interested in or drawn to than the other? And if so, or if not, why?
I am not drawn more to one than I am the other. I'm pretty much open and flexible. I think that I could handle well either one. I would be excited to take the second grade class because it's gen ed and self-contained, and I would be with my students all day, and I feel like the more time that you have with them, the stronger relationship that you're going to have, and the more you're going to know that student better and understand more about them and what motivates them and how they learn. So I would be excited to do that, and I am excited to teach different contents because it wouldn't become rote where I'm repeating the same thing every day. I would also be excited to teach the fourth grade because I know that it's a testing grade, and that testing does not scare me. It worries me, but it doesn't sway me from not entering that grade. But I would also be excited because I could teach the same lesson over and over again because that's similar to what I'm doing now. So I don't think that I'm swayed either way.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me?
Does the district offer some kind of medical insurance policy?
The district does, and we have someone that works at admin that handles all that. Their insurance benefits coordinator. They do give you a $275 stipend towards your insurance, and then you pay the difference after that.
Okay.
Our insurance is through Aetna, and they have 3 different levels
Okay.
of insurance. So depending on which one you chose, depending on what yours or your family's needs are, that would just depend on how much you would pay out of pocket. You can also get it to cover just yourself, you and your children, or you and your spouse, or you and your spouse and your children. So all those options are available. Also TRS, they match a contribution to Texas retirement system. And they'll offer vision, dental, there's different cancer policies, things that you can take out on your own.
Okay. Can you tell me what the year might look like as far as the academic calendar? Like,
The
do you
academic
know
calendar. Okay.
approximately when we would start and approximately when we would get out? And is that similar, or does it vary widely from other districts in our area?
Okay, we all pretty much try to stay on about the same schedule. There might be a day or two here that vary. Really, we all try to stay around Northeast Texas Community College's schedule because that just makes it easier for everyone that has kids from,
Right.
age 2 all the way up to age 22. So we normally start around, I'd say the 5th, 6th of August, so at the beginning of August. And we have 2 weeks of in-service. And you'll have a couple of teacher work days in there, and then the other ones will have activities planned. Some will be, just general housekeeping, trainings and things we go over. Some would be you actually going to admin and having some like instructional workshops. And then the district usually has a motivational speaker. We have a day where we have we all go to I lost my train of thought, to the high school, and we have a motivational speaker that comes in, and then after that we do Tiger Fair Share, where we have teachers and administrators that do different trainings, and you can go to whichever classes that you're interested in. And then normally the kids will come to school around 17th, 18th, somewhere right there in the middle of August. And then we will go to school. We get out for for Labor Day. And then we go through October. Then we have a week off in November for Thanksgiving. Christmas, we usually get about 2 weeks off. We come back right after New Year's. Then we'll get off President's Day. And then we'll have a spring break and then a Good Friday. And then we typically get out the Thursday or Friday right before Memorial Day. So we normally start pretty much at the beginning of August, but we end fairly soon in May.
Okay. Does the district give classroom teachers any kind of a startup budget for their classroom to get supplies for that year, or is it given by grade, or how is that?
The Education Foundation Committee, they actually have a bank that donates a lot of money for new teachers.
Okay.
And typically every year when in convocation, when all the teachers meet at the high school, that bank will announce how much they're going to give to brand new teachers for their classroom materials, just as a startup to get them started. We also do here on campus, we have a budget for materials, and normally if a teacher has a need and I feel like it's something that's going to benefit the students or something that the teacher really needs, then I can also approve that through the campus budget and get those materials for the teacher.
Okay.
And, typically new teachers that are new to a classroom, they're going to have more needs than other
Right.
teachers. And so I always try to prioritize that and get everyone what they need, but do it in a priority fashion.
Okay.
So, any other questions?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay, well, like I said, it could be a couple of weeks, but we hope to have the position or positions filled by then. Like I said, we want to give the other teachers an opportunity if they're wanting to move around grades a little bit. Those veteran teachers that have been here, we want to give them that opportunity. But otherwise, you should hear back from us within a couple of weeks, and we sure do thank you for coming in today.
Okay. Thank you very much.